Eek, what's going on, peeps? As per usual, welcome back to the show. Hope you got a cup in your hand or somewhere in the kitchen. Go and grab it, bring it back, resume the video. Welcome back to the show. A not so great weekend for a lot of teams out there as the upsets do continue. And so far throughout CDL, unless you're FaZe, everyone else kind of crumbles into a similar category. And I'm really confused after this past weekend. Tons of upsets, tons of blown rounds, and a lot of hate going towards OpTic way. Their worst weekend yet, and probably in a long time. 0-6 map count, 0-2 matchup count. They fall to the turnaround team that is ROkkr with Standy, and they also fall to Mutineers in a series that certainly, both those series had maps that could have gone either way, but OpTic, when you fail to take a map and you fail to take a series, you really find out the double-edged sword that is the OpTic fan base. I mean, every time these guys tweet out after a loss, you all of a sudden find the coaches and the critics in the comments, and they give every kind of critique and recommendation, whether it be actual strats inside the game, whether it be coaching changes, whether it be how they stack, alongside many other things. You find the deep critics in these responses. And if I'm people like Scump or FormaL, because they probably get the worst of it on this team, like, do I ever tweet again after a loss? I mean, you saw some pretty whack comments, especially, I will say, I think it's fair to say, a thrown away round 11 to Florida, which was, it was wild to see. Very unexpected.
You got Neptune right on the other side of him. FormaL in the back, though. A kill for either side. Slack able to get away, but Scump does pounce, and Neptune will drop advantage now. OpTic Chicago. Nice beams there from Skies. Brings us to a 2v2, and the beams continue as Envoy gets ripped. Final player drops, and Mutineers go up 2-0 behind Skies. Just hitting.
And they know bombs down. They're both trying to reposition. Dashy gets caught challenging. Envoy peeks it wide. Scump's just by himself. He's like, well, I'm stuck here in this spot. I mean, him and FormaL, they locked the bomb site down. They have the 3 versus 2. What, there's 20 seconds left.
And then if FormaL's tweeting out that he's actually losing full, you can tell usually when a series ends like this on the player cam, it's not a good result for those players. OpTic gets the worst of it this past weekend, but turnaround teams all around. That OpTic hate is going to be one to probably keep an eye on, especially if they can't turn it around soon. You see a lot of critics about the scrims, despite it being only, of course, streaming some of their scrims, not necessarily the S&Ds, at least from what we're aware. So there's a lot of debate on the things that are well done around OpTic and content, and maybe what are not fully being focused on in terms of competing. Do I have an issue with it at this point in time? No, but I imagine that's what fans are going to keep on jabbing at if they cannot turn it around and bring some wins back on the plate. Now, speaking of bringing it back, we got ROkkr with Standy. We got the Ravens kind of turning things around too. Those were 2 of your worst teams in stage 1. Ain't no one denying it. London by far and away the worst. You make some changes, and all of a sudden, you're right back in competition. It's hard to keep up with, but ROkkr doing it better than just about anyone else, because you take down OpTic. That in itself was an upset. And then you take down Empire, which is all the more impressive. And Standy, as not a stand-in, he's going to be a permanent member of this roster, doing an amazing job.
Just taking map control away for Empire, really working inside of this range, the middle of the tracks. There's a lot of different, sort of sneaky routes that you can take on this map. They show it right there.
Right back to A. Go ROkkr. Empire. All the focus on B, but it's a very fast rotation out. Can they stop this plant? They line up a bit for Priestahh, but they have that block to work with. Some tags in, but not finishing anything, as Crim's trying to find the angle from this back catwalk. Priestahh, though, able to stay up. The bomb gets planted now. Got to work the defuse in this 4 versus 4. The opening blood. So massive here for either side. It's Priestahh that gets it.
And it's basically a 4v3 for Empire because accuracy is on the flank. But accuracy is able to connect. Priestahh with that first blood. ROkkr, they 1-2-3-5 earlier in the year. ROkkr, they do it again. And what a week for ROkkr. They start off 0-2. But they take down OpTic.
So it is insane, and it is tough to keep up with. We will see how the results keep on pouring in. One last thing as well. I never expected to get rickrolled. I'll probably come back to this one in a second because, you know, during the brutal beatdown of LA Thieves by FaZe, apparently there's an exchange, you know, about the comps, the FaZe comps. COD League deciding not to release those. And so I get rickrolled for it, you know, and as if that's my fault. Release the comps, all right? Everyone wants to see it. You did it to FaZe and OpTic. Why not do it to FaZe and LA Thieves? Can you imagine? Holy crap, I'm having an existential moment here, guys. I've had a cup and a half of coffee. Can you imagine if Call of Duty League releases LA Thieves and FaZe Clan or Atlanta FaZe comms the week after Riot Games and 100 Thieves had a bickering and back and forth? You imagine the... It's tough for me not to want that, but it probably would not be fair. Until next time, what do you guys want, all right? Drink some water, drink some coffee. I'll catch you guys back here next time. Take care.